All right. Well, hey, let me go ahead and get us kicked off here. First off, again, appreciate everyone making some time in their busy schedules to invest in this webinar. Speaking as Jerry Van Dalen, I'm the account executive here with SmarterCommerce. Hopefully, I've met some of you in the past. We also are joined by Fermin Rodriguez, our managing director, as well as Diego Fernandez, who's a senior product manager with SmarterCommerce. He's going to be handling the demonstration portion of our agenda. Yeah, so the title of today's webinar is Lead or Get Left Behind, really focusing around the importance of digital commerce for manufacturers and distributors, particularly those in the JD Edwards space as well. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started here. Number one, everyone has been placed on mute. If you have any questions, please go ahead and chat me directly. This is, again, speaking Jerry Van Dalen. Again, chat me directly if you have any questions. We encourage Q&A throughout the session. We'll have some time at the end of today's agenda to review any outstanding questions, but we'll be addressing questions as they arise throughout the session. So with that said, I'll go ahead and just kind of cover what today's going to look like for us. Our agenda is sort of shared on the screen. Hopefully everyone's able to see that. We'll spend a little bit of time sort of defining digital commerce and learning how to think about digital commerce in today's age, and then we'll transition over to talking about some critical digital commerce trends that we're seeing in the marketplace and some data that I think should help inform us on how we can think about digital commerce and how we can think about e-commerce. And then we'll transition over to an overview of SmarterCommerce e-commerce as a digital commerce platform. And as mentioned, we plan to have a few minutes at the end of today's session for Q&A. If you're joining us here in the last 2 minutes or so, feel free to chat in any questions on the chat there at Zoom. You can chat those to me directly. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's ask a really basic question. I think a lot of us intuitively know the response to this, but luckily Gartner has given us a great definition of what exactly digital commerce is. Digital commerce refers to a process or platform or technology or tool that enables customers to purchase goods and services through an interactive and self-service experience. We're obviously talking about an online platform where customers, maybe even you and me on today's session, log in, place an order, and receive goods and services online. Now, in years gone by, e-commerce used to be thought of primarily as a B2C need, meaning it really wasn't that relevant for B2B organizations. But that certainly isn't the case anymore. If the last couple of years have shown us anything, is that businesses need to adapt to the digital commerce landscape in order to stay competitive. A lot of manufacturers and distributors came to realize that digital commerce was important for a number of reasons. Number one, you have to make it easier to do business with your customers. Even if your customer is a B2B buyer who's purchasing complex products and services from your organization for many, many years, you have to prioritize making it easier to do business with your organizations. Number two, this is probably not a newsflash to any of us, but your competitors are most likely already launching and managing e-commerce platforms and probably have e-commerce strategies. In order for you guys to stay competitive, it is absolutely essential that you launch digital commerce platforms to keep up with the competition. And then additionally, every metric out there is a little bit different, but everybody agrees that there is massive market potential in the world of B2B digital commerce. That's certainly not going away, and it's going to be growing into the years to come. But unfortunately, for a lot of manufacturers and distributors, this is kind of what their commerce mix looks like, right? You've got most sales orders coming in primarily through conventional channels, conventional sales channels. We're talking about, sales representatives going out into the field, making phone calls, placing orders manually into your system, or you've got a call center operations where customers call in and place routine orders over the phone. And digital channels really represent a very small portion of what your sales channel volume looks like. And again, despite the fact that everybody agrees that digital commerce is important, even in the B2B space, a lot of organizations look like this. The reality is that there needs to be a fundamental transition about how digital commerce is thought. And there needs to be a transition to something that more closely reflects this, where those call center operations still exist, sales representatives are still placing orders and working with customers, but the majority of your sales transactions are actually flowing into your e-commerce platform through a variety of digital sales channels. And this can range from EDI orders, which we're all probably familiar with and using to some extent, perhaps some sort of an e-procurement or marketplace integration. Maybe you've got a sales rep portal where your sales representatives can log in and place orders or build orders in collaboration with customers. And then obviously a typical B2B e-commerce platform. Again, B2B organizations, manufacturers, and distributors need to move in this direction when it comes to digital commerce in order to adapt to today's landscape. So if we want to spend a little bit of time in reviewing what are some of those key trends that we're noticing into the digital commerce landscape that we can point to and make note and then build a digital commerce strategy around that. Well, definitely we're seeing what we call consumerization of B2B. That's probably one of the ones that stands out. And basically what that means is B2B buyers, your customers, actually expect a B2C-like experience when it comes to digital commerce, right? The reality is that your customers already use a lot of digital commerce platforms like Amazon or Apple.com or Walmart.com, and the list goes on. And so when they come to work and they're dealing with your organization and they're dealing with B2B e-commerce platforms, they expect that same level of customer service. They expect that same kind of an experience on those e-commerce platforms as well. So consumerization of B2B means bringing a lot of those typically B2C type experience into the world of B2B. Additionally, across the board, like I mentioned earlier, and perhaps like most of us are aware, B2B buyers are embracing digital channels by and large. We're going to see this in the data in just a couple of minutes here, but that seems to be the trend in pretty much every B2B industry. And yet what we also see is that B2B sellers, meaning manufacturers and distributors, the vendors, perhaps the organizations that you represent, are still struggling to unite sales channels in order to respond to this growing demand for digital commerce. And that's what we mean when we say being left behind in the title of today's webinar. The risk here is that your organization might get left behind when it comes to the digital commerce demands and transformation that's going on in the industry, and then your organization will no longer be able to stay competitive. Some of the data that we see in the industry that's really quite staggering. Some of these numbers we got from a really insightful research document conducted by Sathio. They went out into the marketplace and interviewed about 1,500 different B2B buyers, which essentially represent your customers. And some of the astounding data that they realized was that e-commerce is actually now the #1 preferred way to buy in their B2B roles. That's over 50% of B2B buyers actually prefer and prioritize e-commerce as the way to do shopping. This outperforms more conventional sales channels like phone calls and emails, which is a pretty foundational shift in the way that B2B buyers are doing business. This is even more surprising when you consider that just 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, this number was not 50%, it was 28%. What this tells us is probably what most of us on today's webinar knew intuitively. The pandemic has greatly accelerated people's demand for B2B e-commerce. Nonetheless, when these B2B buyers are then asked how the e-commerce sites that they're shopping on, how do they meet the expectations that they have? The reality is that more than half of the e-commerce sites that they're dealing with are not really fully meeting the expectations that B2B buyers have. So if they were asked, what are those challenges that you're still seeing in the online B2B buying process, that's kind of the data that you see there below. There's a lot of really interesting insight in some of those areas. I'll pick out just a few. Obviously, the #1 area where B2B buyers are seeing a challenge in the purchasing process and the e-commerce process revolves around delivery and tracking. And that really means not being able to see accurate delivery timing, not being able to see order status or poor order status, transparency or visibility. Or sometimes this means that the B2B buyer knows that they have specific delivery preferences with the customer, but they don't see that personalized service reflected on the e-commerce platform. You go down a couple of items there, you also see listed visibility of product features. This really means making sure that the product information on the e-commerce site is actually accurate, that it's truthful and transparent. And that begins with really basic information like item inventory, item pricing. B2B buyers are constantly frustrated by not being able to see accurate inventory or accurate pricing. And then obviously that expectation extends itself to other kinds of product content like images, technical specifications, so on and so forth. We go down a little bit more, we see their payment terms. B2B buyers are frustrated by the fact that they're not able to see their customer-specific payment terms accurately reflected on the e-commerce platform. This means that when a B2B buyer logs on to a B2B e-commerce platform, they want to be able to see their personalized business pricing on the platform. Because if they're not getting the best pricing, if they don't trust the e-commerce platform to give them the best customer experience, the phone and calls the sales representative to get the best pricing available. And obviously at that point, the e-commerce platform is falling short of the customer expectations. Keep going down, you see there the area of personalization. 29% of B2B buyers felt that the buying process in the area of personalization was a challenge, that it was falling short. When we talk about personalization in the B2B space, we're really talking about seeing the e-commerce platform personalize itself to reflect the complex B2B relationship in the areas of pricing, order fulfillment logic, history information, so on and so forth. You have to make sure that whatever e-commerce platform your organization moves forward with, whatever your strategy is, that it prioritizes personalizing that digital commerce experience to the complex relationship that you have with your customer. The risk, obviously, in falling short or not meeting the expectations of your customers, of these B2B buyers, is that ultimately the customer relationship will break down. If you don't have a strategy and a platform to address these challenges, your customer relationships trust, your customer trust will also fail. So we mentioned that B2B organizations, they're struggling, obviously, to meet some of these expectations. And what we saw on the previous slide is that the challenges that a lot of B2B organizations have revolves around providing accurate and timely data and processes. If those basic expectations are not reliably met for the customer is not going to trust the e-commerce platform. And here's the surprising thing about our day and age today. Because the e-commerce experience is so central to how B2B buyers do business with your organization in the B2B space, this will inevitably reduce the level of trust in the relationship, meaning if your e-commerce platform isn't doing a good job of providing that accurate and timely information to your customers, the customer relationship is going to suffer. A lot of organizations in the B2B space may have some sort of a mainstream or non-integrated e-commerce solution in place, something like a Shopify or a BigCommerce or something that doesn't really connect with your backend systems. But if they don't have that real-time connection to the business data and business processes, they are going to be unable, those platforms are going to be unable to provide real-time and accurate and reliable information. And ultimately, the one who suffers here is your customer. What's absolutely critical is that as sellers, as B2B organizations prioritize an e-commerce strategy, that it's going to be focused around building trust. Because if your customers can trust a digital commerce platform, they are going to adopt that digital commerce platform. And that's absolutely foundational to a successful experience, rather a successful e-commerce strategy. That same research also provided a really interesting insight. These B2B buyers would overwhelmingly buy from a supplier that they had a really strong relationship with, that they trusted that digital commerce website, even if the terms of that business were less preferential. What does this mean? This means that your customers are willing to spend a little bit more and stay with you if they can trust the relationship that they have with you, if they know that that trust is then extended to the digital commerce platform. That's a pretty astounding number. So how can B2B organizations drive a successful digital commerce strategy? Obviously, there's no easy answer here, and B2B organizations are kind of stuck in this balancing act, right? Maybe you're on the webinar today and you feel that, right? B2B is complex. There's no way of getting around that. The products that you provide, the services that you provide, all the different configuration options, The products that you sell are complex. You're a complex organization. That's just the nature of who you are. There's no getting around that. And yet, at the same time, your customers are expecting a lot more out of their digital commerce experiences. So you have to find a strategy and a platform that balances the B2B complexity and simplifies that into an engaging digital commerce experience for your customers. Some of the winning strategies that we as an organization have seen over the years that help B2B organizations launch and manage successful e-commerce strategy revolve around some of those points there at the bottom of the slide. The number one priority is finding a technology and a process that aligns to your digital commerce strategy. It starts with a platform, right? You have to realize that whatever vision you have of e-commerce, you need to find a platform that's going to be able to realize that trustworthy experience that you're going to be offering your customers. Additionally, what happens in a lot of times in B2B organizations is that the more conventional sales channels begin to see e-commerce as a competition to their business. And maybe this is something that resonates with some of us on the webinar, right? You've got the sales team that has great relationship with your customer. And as you're trying to launch a digital commerce platform, those same salespeople will then see the e-commerce platform as a competition. And so the customer will then go on the e-commerce website, check pricing there, call the salesperson that they've been doing business with for 10 years, and they know that they can get a better price with the salesperson. And the salesperson is not really incentivized to push that customer onto the digital commerce platform. Now, obviously, that's a misalignment of incentives at an organizational standpoint, and that's not going to drive a successful e-commerce deployment. So organizations have to make sure that the way that they measure e-commerce success and the way that they incentivize employees and the sales team lines up with their e-commerce strategy. The third point there really revolves around making sure that customer experiences are consistent across all the sales channels that you have in order to drive the adoption and the retention on those digital channels. Your customers want to receive personalized service, personalized support, whether they make a phone call to your customer service representatives or whether they log on to the e-commerce platform. It's absolutely critical that when they log on to the e-commerce platform, they're seeing the best pricing available, they're seeing accurate inventory, they're seeing all of their orders accurately represented in the system so that they can shop on the digital commerce platform with trust in you as an organization. Now, the end goal here is obviously that B2B organizations would make it easier to do business with their customers. That's where all the data is showing. That's what your B2B customers want from you. They want to be able to log on, self-service themselves on a 24/7 basis, and just place orders without having to make a phone call. And that's what ultimately a digital commerce strategy should be focused around. And obviously, once a successful digital commerce strategy has been implemented, the goal here is that your team would move from lagging in the e-commerce space and risking being left behind to now being in a position where you can have leadership in the industry. So I want to provide a quick overview of who we are as an organization, and then we're going to transition into an overview of SmarterCommerce e-commerce as a platform that helps balance that B2B complexity and providing an outstanding customer experience. So as mentioned, SmarterCommerce has been around for close to 30 years at this point. Since the early 90s, we've been around supporting JD Edwards customers. We've delivered over 500 successful projects throughout those 30 years. We're based in South Florida, and in the last 20 years, really since the early 2000s, we identified a need. We realized that a lot of JD Edwards organizations were struggling to launch successful projects in the space of e-commerce in particular. And so since the early 2000s, we've been developing products that help JD Edwards organizations launch successful commerce, payments, and retail initiatives. And we get it. Perhaps you're attending this webinar and your organization is close to launching an e-commerce platform, or perhaps is struggling to manage and drive a successful e-commerce strategy. And we get it. We understand that after helping countless of businesses, we know that it can be intimidating or overwhelming to be the face of change, to be in charge of this digital commerce initiative. What we've noticed over many years of helping tech and business leaders launch e-commerce platforms is that a lot of times they experience challenges in an e-commerce project, specifically related to a lack of connection. And when we say lack of connection, we're talking about a lack of connection between your ERP and your other systems, namely your e-commerce system. We just learned in the slides before that one of the key priorities for a B2B buyer is being able to see reliable and trustworthy information on an e-commerce platform. Well, the way that SmarterCommerce tackles that expectation is by connecting your e-commerce platform, SmarterCommerce e-commerce, with JD Edwards as the central repository for all customer information, pricing, inventory, and ordering logic. Again, this lack of connection, what we saw in the industry is that for a lot of tech and business leaders could leave them feeling overwhelmed. You've got this big digital commerce initiative and you don't feel like you have the resources or the platform to be successful because your ERP doesn't talk to your e-commerce. When you try and find a way to have those two systems integrate with each other, you're surprised by a high cost number of what it takes to develop that kind of a connection. And so that's why SmarterCommerce was developed. SmarterCommerce was built on the ethos that we believe that businesses, in particular JD Edwards organizations, deserve a fully connected e-commerce platform that enables you to conquer the complexity of B2B commerce and also provide an outstanding customer experience for your customers so that you can focus on growing your business instead of being consumed by conquering the complexity of e-commerce. We've done this for over 130 JD Edwards customers over the years. All of these customers at some point were overwhelmed by a new project in their payments, retail, or e-commerce space, and they were frustrated by the lack of connection to JD Edwards. After partnering with SmarterCommerce, they were able to successfully launch a smarter digital commerce initiative and move from being in a place of struggling with an e-commerce strategy to becoming an industry leader. If we ask the basic question, what exactly is SmarterCommerce? We like to say that SmarterCommerce is really a family of solutions that help companies unite commerce, payments, and retail into one simple automated system that connects with JD Edwards. Now, obviously, we've got solutions in the payment space, and the retail space, and the sales tax automation space, as well as the call center management space. But of particular focus today is our SmarterCommerce e-commerce solution, which is a complete B2B and B2C digital commerce platform that features real-time integration to JD Edwards Enterprise One. So as an example of this, what we're going to do right now is transition over to a demonstration of SmarterCommerce e-commerce. We've talked a lot about the importance of accurate information, of trustworthy data reflected on a digital commerce platform, and how customers need to be able to see a personalized view of their business. And so what we're going to be seeing in this demonstration is just that. A platform that's able to provide that customer-specific pricing, inventory information, and experience because of its integration to JD Edwards. So with that said, Diego, I'll go ahead and hand off the presentation to you.
Well, thank you, Jerry, and good afternoon or good morning to everyone on the call and on the webinar. I'm going to be walking through providing basically a demonstration of how SmarterCommerce bridges the gap between the use of e-commerce out in by your customers, integrated real time with your JD Edwards Enterprise One. As we dig down deeper to get an understanding of how we unify content with commerce, we need to ask some basic questions that really you need to consider as you're rolling out your e-commerce solution. Number one, the main reason to have an e-commerce site is that you want to make it easy for your prospective customers, customers that are looking to purchase your products to be able to find you. SmarterCommerce helps you bridge that gap through integrated search engine optimization across your entire site, across your product content, and so on. Let's look at that with one of our customers that we have currently utilizing our SmarterCommerce solution with integrated real time into their JD Edwards. So I'm going to go out to the Google search here, and let's assume for a second that I am a leather manufacturer, someone that works with leather products, and I want to search on a specific leather product that I'm looking for. So I go out as a buyer out into Google and search a typical set of keywords. And immediately that I do that, obviously Google's going to provide search results. And here we find ranked right at the top one of our customers, Weaver Leather Supply, that immediately can go in, find the product, and I as a buyer can see exactly what I'm looking for. Look at specifications, look at ways to purchase, how, the different dimensions of the product, the different images of the products, and additional information related to that product. This is the SmarterCommerce e-commerce solution, integrated real-time, enriching the content and allowing for prospective customers to easily find you and find your products based on the keywords that they're looking for and the products that they're looking for. So this is one point you need to consider as you roll out your e-commerce solution, is to make sure that you have a fully integrated search engine optimization strategy as part of your e-commerce rollout so that prospective customers can find you. As we all know, that's our main goal of any site, is not only our maintaining our current customers, but finding those new customers. Let's continue on and look at some other capabilities that you really need to consider as you are rolling out your site. Now, once your customers do find you, you need to really think about a robust on-site search engine, something that a customer can utilize and find easily, and it should be front and center on your website. So here is an example of another one of our customers, Lindy Direct. And as you can see here, this is their website, how they present themselves, their various categories of products. They manage over 90,000 products through our SmarterCommerce solution, again, integrated real-time and pulling back pricing and information real-time from the JD Edwards system. But here, again, a customer needs to easily find what they're looking for. And right in front and center, we have a search box capability, a robust search box that as I start typing in keywords, it starts giving me suggestions as to what I may be looking for. And as I go through, I can then find specifically that part or that product that I need through the search suggestions or product suggestions, so that customers can easily get to that in one click, be able to go directly to that part and purchase that part, see the pricing of that part, see content information, and making sure that that's exactly the product that I need. So that's another consideration, not just obviously search engine optimization for your public searches like Google, so that prospective customers can easily find you and current customers can find your products, but also your on-site searches, making sure that it's front and center and that you have a robust search engine that can easily look over all of your content and catalog information, not only product information, but being able to index your pages, being able to index your documents that you may have stored within the system, and so on. So that's another consideration you should take into account as you're considering the rollout of a new e-commerce solution. Another point that is of importance is, a simplified navigation, a way that customers, when they do visit your website, they can easily get through to the different product families and present yourself in a way that is intuitive to your users. And here's another example of that. One of our customers, Osborne Seeds. If I go into their website, and then you may notice as I go through each of our customers here, they present themselves differently. A very intuitive website where they're grouping all of their different content catalogs by the different groups of products. seed forms, organics, herbs, flowers, vegetables, allowing me as a user to easily find that group of product that I need, and then within that category being able to drill down easily into that category. So I, as a buyer, am looking to purchase seeds related to carrots, and then I can even further drill down through what are called specifications and specific attributes associated to those products, so that I can quickly scroll down to the lowest level and find the product that I am most interested in. So as you can see, you want to really consider how you structure your catalog, the navigation of your catalog, your groupings of products, and be able to use capabilities that SmarterCommerce offers around facets and attributes that you can associate to your product, so that your customers can easily filter down their product selections to find that specific product that they're interested in, to see the various images, content information, pricing information that is all coming real time from JD Edwards. So again, keeping that navigation very simple, keeping that navigation easy to follow for your user community. So let's continue looking at other capabilities that you need to consider as you're building out your website. Again, we spoke about search engines, we spoke about catalogs and construction of a catalog that is simple to navigate. We search on-site searches, but there are other considerations you really need to consider as you're bringing out and rolling out your e-commerce solution for your business-to-business transactions. Another one is providing ways to simplify finding those products in other ways than just searches or navigations through catalogs, but things like product finders and product configurator and product matrix capabilities. These are also important to roll out on your site, depending on your industry and the type of products that you sell. And we can see that here in our example, our demonstration website, Smarter Tech, which is an electronics website. And it's within here that we have multiple product catalogs, again, that you can set up to represent your product families, easy navigation to be able to see the different product families and allow your customers to drill in to the family of products that they're looking for. But maybe there's uncertain, as to what exactly they're looking for. Well, we have capabilities built within our SmarterCommerce solution that can allow you to set up wizard-like questions to help your customers find that product more easily. We call that the product finder capabilities, where we walk the customer through a series of questions that you've pre-designed. For example, here, I'm a customer that's interested in purchasing a high definition television, and it's going to walk me through a series of steps and questions to narrow down exactly what I'm looking for. I know I'm looking for a 50-inch display TV. I know that I need at least 3 HDMI ports within that TV as inputs for the different components that I want to add in. I know that I want it in a specific price range for my television. So I can go filtering through the various questions, and you can design each of these product finders and questions that are intuitive to the user, so that they can filter through and only find those products that are specifically related to what they're looking for. And then once they have that, they can cross compare these products so that they can match up and compare each of their features, capabilities, pricing, and so on, so that they know exactly what they're getting depending on what they're purchasing. So capabilities around product finders, obviously, in addition to catalog navigation, in addition to search engine, Always help your users to find specifically what they're looking for. Help them to find your products, something that you need to consider in your e-commerce solution that you're looking to implement, and something that obviously is part of the Smarter Commerce solution already today. And then right from here, once a customer has narrowed down their selection, they can then again drill into more enriched content, reading about that product, seeing multiple images, seeing videos, seeing specifications, documentation, zooming into the various images, and so on. So capabilities that you truly need to consider as you're going through and launching your e-commerce solution. Other capabilities are things like configurations. A lot of customers have configured products or products that require to go step by step to build out that product. Maybe it has multiple options that you can go through. And this is an example of a configured product where I'm going to go through and build a server for my office or my home here, and I need to go through and select different components that will impact my pricing. So what kind of Intel processor do I want? Then what kind of memory do I require? What is the size of the memory, and so on. So if you're a company that provides configured products or products that your customers can have multiple options to, something you need to consider is make sure that your e-commerce solution can support those configured products, and those configurations go straight into JD Edwards and are supported by the sales configurator within JD Edwards. So another capability that you need to truly consider, and another one that you want to highly consider, is for those that are in the apparel industry or have matrix style products. That is becoming more and more common, where you have dimensional products. So here is an example of that, where you have a t-shirt that comes in multiple dimensions, small, medium, large, extra large, different colors, different gender and sleeve sizes. And here a user can easily purchase multiple quantities across all of the different combinations in one process without having to step through multiple steps. So things that you need to consider, especially for business to business bulk buying, that allows your customers to find that product and purchase it based on all of the combinations in one quick, easy process. So again, things that are directly embedded in the logic and capabilities of Smarter Commerce, but things you need to consider as you roll out your e-commerce solution and understand the type of products that you have to sell through within your e-commerce solution. Now, once you do have some of these capabilities, another major capability that you really need to consider is, one thing is to find the product. Another one is to provide detailed information about that specific product to make sure that it matches the requirements that that customer needs. You want to have rich, deep information, descriptions, technical specifications, capabilities to download things like manuals and MSDS sheets related to those products. You want high quality images. You want to be able to provide availability of those products, timing of those products for delivery, maybe even related products that are sold in addition to that product that could be related to that product, and obviously specific pricing to that product. So here is an example of that within our Smarter Commerce solution, where you can enrich all of the content associated to that product, again, having multiple images associated to that product, having videos, instructional videos associated to that product, marketing videos and other associated to that product. You can have extensive content, enriched content explaining your product, specifications associated to that product, and capabilities to download all types of manuals and guides and manufacturers' data sheets and troubleshooting guides and even exploded diagrams related to your product. So these are the type of information that you want to be able to provide your customers so that they can find the products, make sure that that's the product that they need that meets their specific specifications for all of their needs, so that they'll go and purchase it without having to contact your customer service to answer their specific questions. So enriched content, easy to find content with an integrated search engine and a simple navigation helps your customers to find what they need and to purchase that product immediately. But that's not enough. I mean, yes, they found your product. Yes, they understand that that's the right product, but they want personal information. They want to be able to see, that product is getting the right price, their pricing. They want to be able to see if they've bought it before historically and maybe purchase it again. They want to be able to see what is the closest warehouse to them if they need it delivered, or if they want to pick it up at a warehouse or at a store location that you may have. They want to see other products related to that product. And even as far as if, having personalized catalogs to be able to find the products that they purchase routinely. So let's see some examples of that within our SmarterCommerce solution here within our demonstration environment. You can see across the top here, starting with personalized catalogs, these are our public catalogs, catalogs that anyone and everybody can get to. But if I go ahead and log in as a user of the system, a return customer here, and I sign in, immediately that I sign in, I can see that I have an additional catalog that's been assigned to me, because not only do I buy electronics from this demonstration store and tools, but this organization, Smarter Tech, also sells wines. And I am a distributor that can purchase wines from this company. So as you can see, it's important to personalize that information to the customer. So if you have customers that have white label products or products that are specific to industries that they can only purchase, you can create different catalogs and then assign those catalogs to that group of customers so that they see those products only and they don't have to move through other catalogs that aren't relevant to them. So this gives you a capability to really personalize the products and the catalogs as they are associated to that specific customer. But as I mentioned, it's not just about finding the products and the products that you can purchase as a customer, but also making sure that you get your right pricing. So we're going to see another example of that. As you can see here, when I was drilling in through the various products that we saw earlier, we have this LG 50-inch TV that's sold at retail $295. But if I go ahead and sign in again as a return customer that has specific pricing rules and advanced pricing rules within the Enterprise One system, once I log in and I now get my specific pricing for that product. Same product, LG 50-inch TV, but now it's been personalized to me, where I can see my pricing for that product. I can see the warehouse where it's coming out of. If I hit add to cart here and I move over to my floating shopping cart. I can even verify the details of my pricing discounts as they come from JD Edwards. All of this reading real time, the JD Edwards information. So you want to be able to personalize this information so that your end customer has confidence in your system, in that it can find that product easily and also is getting the correct relevant information from the system. So that if I do things like, I know that I get pricing discounts, and instead of buying an each, I want to buy a case, and I want to know, well, how many are in a case? The SmarterCommerce system automatically reads the unit of measure conversions and tells the user, well, you're going to get 4 eaches for this one case that you're purchasing. And as soon as I click update, it reprices my information, including repricing my unit costs and giving me a volume discount adjustment because of volume purchasing and an additional adjustment that kicked in automatically. Those are the type of things you need to consider when launching a B2B platform. Being able to correctly and accurately present the information to the user so they have confidence in purchasing the products that they want to purchase. Not only in purchasing those products, but giving them capabilities to be able to do things like, see their order history. Be able to see complete order history and validate the information that they purchased in the past, and be able to drill in to those specific orders and see what they purchased in the past, and be able to get to things like invoice history, and be able to see returns and process returns, and manage quotes, which are another capability that you really need to consider as you're moving through. But personalizing the information for your user community is of most importance. Obviously, once they find that product, being able to gain confidence that what they're being presented is accurate for their specific needs. Let's see at some other things you need to really consider as you're going through the rollout of an e-commerce solution. Bulk ordering. Most of the time, your B2B buyers know exactly what they want. They don't need to do searches, and they don't need to purchase a product based on finding that product. They know what they want. They buy from you pretty consistently. They just want to be able to get in and out quickly and put that purchase order in, put that order in, and then move on. Well, again, SmarterCommerce offers many ways to do that. The first way is through what we call our quick order capabilities, where your customers can easily import their orders from an Excel spreadsheet. So if they've created their orders out of their ERP system, or they have created their orders manually on an Excel spreadsheet, they can just select that off of their local PC and go ahead and import their order directly into the system. So very simple to do. Work my order outside, import it, place my order, and done. I don't need to worry about searching for the product. I know what I want. I just select my product and I add it to my shopping cart. In addition to bulk ordering through quick order, we also provide a capability called product lists. Product lists allows that B2B buyer to create their own shopping lists for the products that they routinely purchase, and they can create as many as they want. Here are my monthly purchases, my weekly purchases, capabilities that allow your customer to easily and quickly purchase in bulk the products that they normally purchase. But not only do they can build product lists and import their order or do quick order capabilities, but if they've ordered from you in the past something and all they want to do is repeat that order, they can just easily get to a historical order, any historical order in the past, find what they're looking for, and then repeat that order. So let's assume that I had a purchase order that I had placed previously. I can type in my purchase order number, filter through, find that order, drill into that order to see specifically what I bought, and then I can see, yep, that's what I want, and then I can just repeat that order and add those products right into my shopping cart. So the ability to quickly and easily bulk order my products through either import, through either historical orders, through product lists, all are very important to your customer. Being able to quickly and easily reorder from you so that they can throw things in their shopping cart and place that order in just a few moments without having to do searches or other capabilities. Obviously, you want to offer those things to your customers, but a good portion of your customers just want to get in, purchase what they need, and get out. So here, my order, give them an order summary, all my order details, whether the product is available and ready to ship or if it's in back order. In this case, a customer needs a PO number where they type in their PO number, and then they continue to the last step, which is how do you want to pay for this? And since this is a terms customer, I'm going to go ahead and place that order against terms and credit limit, where it's going to evaluate my credit limit and terms, and it'll go ahead and place that order directly into JD Edwards. Very simple to do. A user can quickly, in just a few moments, as you just saw, be able to import that order and process it through adding products from both an import, order history, product list, and placing that order into Edwards, and I'm done, and I can move on to other things that I need to do in my own organization. So that's another important aspect you need to truly consider is bulk ordering. And as we just mentioned, capabilities around reordering, reordering from order history, one-click ordering, being able to just purchase a product quickly if it's something that I've purchased in the past. Things you need to truly consider as you're rolling out your e-commerce solution. All right, some other things you want to, obviously, that I highlighted before, you want to also consider the capability of being able to process quotes through the e-commerce solution, such as the SmarterCommerce solution does, and it enters those quotes into your JD Edwards so that then you can go through and evaluate those quotes, and also give them the capability of accepting the quote once it's ready to be either accepted or rejected, and being able to convert that quote into a sales order if accepted. Other things you want to consider is split shipments. Many B2B type ordering wants to place one order from multiple warehouses or multiple locations. Again, something that SmarterCommerce handles natively out of the box because it's integrated real time with your JD Edwards. So on one order, I can put different ship to lines or different shipping addresses so that I can go ahead and place that order in as one order, and it automatically splits it into multiple shipments and multiple locations within the JD Edwards system. Another big consideration is don't forget about your sales personnel. Your sales personnel is a key aspect to all of this. They need to become advocates of the B2B digital commerce portal, and they need to help their customers grow and use that portal. And this is an example of that. This is a user, Annette at SmarterTech.com, that works for SmarterTech and is a salesperson on the road helping her customers. So Annette here is going to log in. And upon logging in, I can then go ahead. Now, once I'm Annette Walters, I can go ahead and see my book of customers that I work with. And right from here, I can select who I want to work on behalf of. Can I do this? Well, this allows me to now see all of the information on the website on behalf of HD Capital Supplies, which is one of my customers. I can see all of their orders that they've placed. Here's the order they just placed a few moments ago. I can see that because, again, I'm a salesperson that represents this customer, and I can see that they just placed that order. I can switch between customers. Maybe now I'm going to visit or talk on the phone with a different customer. I can easily switch between customers and move to a different customer to see all of the information related to that customer and their order history that they've placed, along with seeing their pricing for their specific products. So here is that same TV. This customer that we just selected, Frito-Lay, pays $2.95. But if I go to switch over to Capital Systems here, and we look up that same product, remember that they paid a discounted rate on that product. They paid $286.15. So as you can see, the solution is not just oriented and personalized to your customer base, but it helps your sales personnel also help their customers, being able to find their information easily and quickly. And all of this is critical, but on top of that, your system needs to be mobile friendly, because as time has passed, more and more purchases are moving away from the desktop and away from laptops into phones and tablets. Customers are on the road. Sometimes they're, a contractor that's doing service at one of their customers and they need a part for a certain machinery. They need to get on their phone easily and quickly and be able to, manage that information and be able to place orders and be able to do everything they do, but in a mobile friendly device. So that's another capability that you need to take into account, is mobile friendliness of your solution, being able to easily provide your users the capability to be mobile friendly. Here I'm using the mobile emulator that is provided with the solution, allowing me again to pass through and see how I have the same capabilities, in a mobile friendly, with all of the same capabilities that I have through the desktop. So nothing changes, meaning the flexibility and the information should be presented, and the same business rules should apply whether I come through the desktop or I come through mobile. And it should just be automatically available to me as a user on my mobile device. Well, thank you very much. I know we're at the end here. I just wanted to provide, again, some points to consider as you're rolling out your solution for e-commerce. And the important thing to note is that SmarterCommerce provides all of these capabilities right out of the box, integrated real time into your JD Edwards solution, unifying the content with the commerce and giving you all of those capabilities and flexibility to provide to your customer base. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to Jerry for any closing comments.
Yeah, thanks again, Diego, for that overview. Big thank you to everyone that was able to join for today's webinar. I know I've been trading chats here with a few of the attendees. Appreciate all the questions that have come in. If there's any additional questions or comments, feel free to reach out to our team. You can always email us at the emails displayed there on the screen. Give us a quick phone call. We'll be more than happy to help. Again, thank you everybody that attended today's webinar. Just as a general announcement, we did record the session and we'll be sending out that recording to all of the attendees and everyone that maybe was not able to participate. So again, a big thank you to everyone and have a great rest of the week, everybody.